everyone. We're saying hello to everyone who's in our live studio audience. You can always join our live studio audience for our weekly podcast that we have right here on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/the weight of my heart. But make sure you subscribe to our channel and subscribe to our good friend and my co-host for our Collateral Nation, Kevin Morgan, Dr. Kevin Morgan, his YouTube channel. You don't want to miss his content. He actually demonstrates everything that he talks about here. He demonstrates there at youtube.com/the fit old dog. So 82 years young. I don't think you're old still. And today we're going to be talking about waking up your toes. And this is so important because I've never seen, Kevin, any of the textbooks out there, any of the physical therapists out there actually sharing the types of exercises that you talk about and the importance of really using your toes in every aspect of your workout. You had told us in the very first show to use your toes to claw your way as you're walking, to strengthen those toes. And I'm going to tell you that it took the pressure off my hip. My hip, after like 30 minutes of walking, sometimes is a little bit, starts to get a little cramp in it. And that solved the whole problem. It was how I was walking. But adding your tip truly helped me out. So thank you.
My pleasure.
So the importance of the toes, can we just start out there and talk about why are the toes so important?
Well, if you think about
it,
we
need the toes for gait, but
if you think about it, what's the first thing you lose with PAD?
Toes.
Your toes. And I tell you, I learned something really valuable the other day. Somebody was listening in and they contacted me since then. And I've, in my books, talked about measuring O2 sats on your toes with an O2 sats meter, the ones that came out as a result of COVID, and they are really good. Anyway, this person contacted me about her father, who has a lesion on the toe next to his little toe that's not healing. Sent me a picture of it. And yeah, pretty nasty lesion. She wanted to know what to put on it. I recommended a mixture of iodine and honey. Whether they're doing that or not, I don't know. But I know that works well in horses. I'm a vet, right? Anyway.
Well, we've talked about that they discovered claudication in horses. So that was the first step to PAD.
Oh, that was rhabdomyolysis, I think. Yeah. Anyway, she said he'd been diagnosed with PAD. He was trying to avoid the pain, scooting around. She was trying to get him to exercise. And a long conversation. I said, well, do you have an O2 sats meter running on his toes? So within a few minutes, they sent back a result. His middle toe on his foot, right foot, I think, had an O2 sats of 98%. It was fine. I thought that's kind of weird as he has a lesion on the next toe across. So I said, send me the O2 sats data on his little toe. It was 89. It was under the cutoff of 95. He obviously has an oxygen deficit in two of his toes in his foot, not the other two, which is obviously a consequence of which blood vessels are blocked. So I think it's pretty important. I learned it's pretty important when you're assessing O2 sats and you have PAD and you want to follow progress in response to exercise. It's really important to do it on several toes, especially the ones that are giving you trouble. And I struggle the most with my small toe on my right foot. That's the hardest one to spread, and it's the hardest one to keep happy. I mean, I know how to do it now. It's not a problem. I have the exercises. But I think if I kept tight shoes, never exercised my feet, I would have lost that toe by now, I'm sure, after I've been fighting this for 10 years. So that was a direct result of our previous conversation that they listened in. So
you got to see Douglas is working out his toes over there for you.
Oh, he's got his wool socks on.
And he has the wool socks on. I just thought you'd enjoy this. He's doing his little toe thing. So I think that we'll make him our model. So when you start sharing the exercises that you want everybody to do.
I can't see how well he's spreading his toes. He's hiding that.
We might have to have you take off your socks, Douglas.
Hi, Mike. How are you walking?
I think Mike is walking too. I know I'm walking. We should have everyone join us. This is a great, well, not quite. You're not in your walking regimen.
Not quite. I'm just having my sandwich and then I'm going to have a walk downtown.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, so Douglas has his shoe off and he's ready to show you what he's got here.
Oh, he's doing good. Oh yeah, his toes aren't bad. The little toe and the one next to it are too tight together. You need to get those yoga toes on and spread that little toe. The little
Yeah,
toe is also,
talk about those yoga toes again. I know you always talk about them. I think that those should be part of your Kevin Morgan inspirational selfhelpbooks.com store. And you should actually sell your own branded version.
no, I don't want to. I used to sell socks. They were developed in Canada. They were really good. They were based upon receptors on your feet. And I discovered that I'm a terrible salesman. I do not want to sell socks. I don't want to sell anything. I want to sell my books and my ideas and my thoughts. And that's where I'm happiest. And once I get this PAD training plan published, which is nearly written, and I'll go back to writing my second novel, which is basically an attack on a certain president who I won't mention.
Okay.
That
Probably
person,
good not to get
that
political.
person's, yeah, well, sometimes you have to because you can't ignore, if you're going to talk about insurance and health care, um, it's affecting a lot of little hospitals and stuff like that. But you do have to be careful not to be partisan. I think that's the trick. We have to support the people who are losing support, but we don't have to do it in a way that makes things divisive.
Nope.
Tricky.
And the key with the insurance that we're dealing with right now is that love them or hate them, RFK really tried to get the insurance companies to agree that they were going to minimize pre-authorizations, which are literally leading to delays and denials in care. And it's really leading to so much suffering, as you know, with PAD and what I deal with on a daily basis. But what happened as a repercussion is now that they've started just simply dropping the doctors that are doing advanced limb salvage procedures. And the funny thing is, in the article that I recently just published, the $100 billion amputation crisis, I went in my research, it shows that these insurance companies to the hospitals provide carte blanche reimbursement for amputation for any reason. And yet they have, and there's no evidence to support doing that. All of the evidence supports trying something because as soon as you have an amputation, people are dead within 12 to 18 months. For the most part, most people with these major amputations with PAD are the most advanced stage being critical limb ischemia or CLI. And that's where that evidence is. But yet they're going to go ahead and they are going to prioritize amputations. And for the doctors that are doing the limb salvage procedures for these patients, where the patients are suffering, like with the gentleman you mentioned with the lesion on his toe that won't heal due to poor circulation, making them sit home and suffer waiting for pre-authorizations, waiting for peer-to-peers to get approval for this. And a lot of these procedures are still denied. And if they're not completely denied, what they will deny is the use of a particular tool or technique because they claim, Kevin, there's not enough evidence,
I
which
understand, but we got you on your soapbox,
you
Kym.
got me. I mean, it
I read
really
the whole
gets me.
article. I shared it out, and you're on your soapbox, and the first thing they'll cut off is their toes. So it is relevant.
It is. I was just going to say. So the first thing they do is cutting off the toes. So what can patients do would be my question to you in the meantime, because this is the reality of what's happening. We're trying to fight it. We're trying to put it out there. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to take the bull by the horn and you got to, take the reins of your health. And that's why this type of thing is so important because it starts, especially the newer disease of diabetes and chronic kidney disease and their impact. It's all small vessel disease below the knee and into the foot. So this is really critical information. If you want to save your feet, no one else is going to do it for you.
Well, the
You
biggest
got to do it.
problem, the biggest problem is reaching the patients because the medical profession has created basically a wall between us and them, and they've brainwashed them into believing doctors who generally know nothing whatsoever about the kind of thing we're talking about, and they don't want to know because they either don't care or they don't have time, and also it doesn't get reimbursed for insurance. I mean, my exercise, the PAD 100. how do I get people to know about that? I mean, it was this morning early, I think, on Facebook. Someone came on. I won't mention the name, but they've been following me for ages, and were struggling with the ABI numbers, which were really low ABI numbers. And I suggested they try my PAD 100. I didn't put the link on because I know people don't like you promoting your products, even though my videos aren't products. They're free videos. They mention my books, but they're free. And so they asked what was the P80 100, and it was on your support site. And so I sent the link. I put the link as a reply to that question, and I immediately got a reply back saying this site isn't for selling products, and I had to delete your link to the video, and this is about supporting people. And I'm thinking, how do I reach people if I can't even promote my videos on your site? How do I?
On ours?
Yes, your site.
Oh,
And
you're allowed to put.
this person deleted it with that reasoning, and it's like, so no, they said they
Someone
had
deleted it on our site.
on her response, in
Oh,
response to her.
did she? Oh, the person
The person, I
who
won't say
does
who
the
it
post.
was. I don't want to get them in. I don't want to be personalizing
No,
this.
you don't have to do that here. But the person who did the post, if you put it on theirs, they do have the ability. If it's in our major
No,
group at
I didn't
PAD,
mind her deleting it. What I didn't like was the lecture of how I should never send her the link, even though she asked for it. And so I'm thinking, am I not supposed to post links to my videos on your site? Uh, because how else do we? I mean, my videos are free, right? I don't make
yeah.
any money. I don't monetize them. I don't get a bean for that stuff. And yet, how does one do marketing without being a bloody vacuum cleaner salesman? How do you do that? It's
Like
tricky.
it's different because, in our group, yes, we are very careful about overall. We've had several patients that have used their disease to be on a soapbox to define who they are and to then create a following to basically legitimize and give them purpose.
Which by the
And they're
herbal
giving
people, the herbal people are terrible.
these are actual patients that are suddenly experts in PAD because they're patients or they've had amputations. One in particular who's had amputations, bless his heart, but every time he posted in our group, it was the same exact post he was putting in every single other group. And everyone who commented, everyone who liked, he was sending private links to them to follow him, to consume his content. And for us, that's not okay. Because then it's like us endorsing, the content and it's spamming, the patients. Patients don't like that. With you, it's very different. You're not just a PAD patient. You are a pathologist. You have a PhD in pathology. You're the author of multiple legitimate books out there with some self-time tested and all evidence based. I mean, in terms of you use pathology to prove your methods. And the fact that you're a world triathlete at 82 years old, competing at an international level, wherever you come in, it doesn't matter. I think that you even qualifying for it, I think that that puts you apart. And then secondarily, you're not defining yourself by your disease, right? You're not on a soapbox. You're truly there for other people. You can help yourself. You're fine. You're psychologically, you're emotionally and physically, like you do your thing. Now you're really legitimately trying to help other people. Like you have the biggest heart. So it's different. And that's why when people need to understand, that's why we really support your efforts. We absolutely believe in you and we appreciate all of the time you donate to truly trying to help people.
Yeah, I just
So,
started to wonder if I was overdoing it, So
nope.
I just got to be careful. I don't want to be self-promoting, but I do have to reach the patients. I mean, how the hell do you reach them? It's really difficult.
Well, that's why we do this. And then we can also work on just the messages. And I think that we even yesterday, my producer Josh and Heinz was there and Mike was there and even Douglas was there. Um, and we were talking about your books. We were sharing your information with Dr. Lily Johnston, a vascular surgeon, In Southern California. She works at Scripps, but she also has a separate metabolic practice. And we told her she needs to pick up your book and read it. She's really interested in doing her own research independently of anyone. That would
Right.
be a really great contact with for you. And we can maybe use and create a small study, in partnership with her patients, with some of your
My,
methods,
my
number one.
technique, my techniques need validating scientifically, along with a series of measurements of O2 sats in the toes, with two groups, the ones that do it, the ones that don't. I mean, you got to run a study. But running human studies is tricky. It comes with a lot of ethical problems and legal problems. So it has to be done right, and it has to be
Yeah.
done under the auspices of the appropriate hospital. I can't do that from my house in Carborough.
Nope. And we also mentioned you, still are waiting for the Wounds Canada article that I wrote in conjunction with Dr. David Alper, our podiatrist and our board member. It's supposed to have published, and it has you mentioned in it along with your book. So hoping that gets you a little bit of acknowledgement from the scientific community, because it is a peer-reviewed article that I put
Right.
out there, and you're mentioned in it, and that means that the peer actually approved it. The doctor actually approved what we said about your methods. So that's a really good thing. It's just, time, with all of this. But doing weekly podcasts like this, I think really help getting the word out there.
It's definitely helped me already, just from the questions that came in, especially from Alan, who has the below the knee amputation and the midfoot amputation. We communicated since then. It left me struggling with how do you grow collaterals when you're in his situation. It's much tougher. I mean, if you have all your toes, then you've got a place to start. But if you don't have any toes at all, how do we do this? He told me some interesting stuff. I mean, the fact that he could move his imaginary toes. He can do the exercises on the toes because he has phantom toes. He can feel the toes that are no longer there. That was pretty interesting, actually.
That
And
is
he,
interesting.
yeah, and he said what worries him is he sees fellow patients in wheelchairs who've given up, who've got no
Yeah.
legs and they've given up. And he said that makes him very sad.
And
You know,
that's why doing something like this is so important. Douglas, go ahead. I think you might have
I
a bad
love you
connection
talk.
there.
I love.
yeah, you're broken up, Doug.
You might want to write your question in, because it says you have low bandwidth.
I have
Yes,
low bandwidth some days, like my head has low
I do
bandwidth.
too.
Yeah.
I do too. Douglas, if you can go ahead and just write it in there, unless you find a certain spot. But in the meantime, so we were talking about, so I'm curious about, oh, go ahead, Douglas. No, his bandwidth is still low. So Douglas, I'm going to go ahead and mute you. And then
That's all
when
that hair. I'm jealous of all that hair.
I know, me too. When
Your hair's fine.
Josh, if you can let us know, our YouTube producer, if you can let us know when Douglas is ready to ask the question. I'm having trouble muting him though, so I'm not sure what's going on. Needless to say, so now we're going to get to the final point. We'll have to start our podcast right here. So let's talk about waking up the toes and all the methods of waking up the toes.
Okay, well, all this stuff is on my videos, starting with one I made with Rebecca Amos Lawson, a body movement teacher. That video is about 10, 12 years old. It's got nearly 30,000 views and a lot of likes, where she describes how to use yoga toes. This was back in the time when I was fighting so-called plantar fasciitis. And by the way, the MDs have that completely wrong, and it's a horrible cottage industry. It's not really a heel problem. It's a nociceptive pain. But it was back in those days, and she mentions that. And so that got me interested in waking up my feet using yoga toes. So I started doing that. And then once I got into PAD and I got past my initial thoughts, I realized there were ways to think through the anatomy and physiology of the foot, that you could improve blood flow in your feet by using your toes. So the first thing you have to do, you have to understand that by compressing your foot laterally in tight shoes or tube socks is going to reduce blood flow through your feet. And that I describe by squeezing a towel and showing the picture afterwards in my first PAD book. Because if you squash the foot, then you're squashing arteries that run between the metatarsals, but you're also squashing the connective tissue, the interstitial connective tissue, so you're impairing flow. So the first thing is get out of tight shoes, have shoes with a wide toe box, but not one you float around in so you might fall. Get rid of tube socks. Some people like those smart wool socks, but they get kind of warm in the summer. But you don't want anything that compresses your foot laterally from side to side. That's number one. Once you get out of that, the next thing you have to do, and most of us have had our feet squashed for years, is spread your feet. And you do that by spreading your toes. And the best tool I know for that is these yoga toes, and they come in various shapes and sizes. And so you'll find that's quite hard to do at first if you've never spread your feet. It also helps to walk barefoot on grass or sand. That will spread your feet, or to go to the pool and lie on your back and do a freestyle kick, just a simple freestyle kick. And as the water hits your feet, it tends to spread your feet like fins. I mean, just look at a good swimmer's feet. When you see their feet, they're really wide and spread, and they really provide propulsion. So you've got to think about spreading your foot. Oh, I see you're sharing a screen now. Oh man, that is an old screenshot. You know, back then, I that's a long story associated with that. Um, a long time ago, I see how I'm spreading that right foot. About when I was about 18, I was in a motorcycle wreck. And what happened in that motorcycle wreck was the kickstart of my motorbike went into my right ankle, broke the lateral malleolus. And for the next 35 years, I guarded my right ankle to the point, and you could see when I contracted in, the foot is smaller. I had to wear shoes of two different sizes because I was guarding my foot to protect the ankle, which was no longer needing to be guarded. So getting rid of guarding is really important. That video is all about eliminating guarding. It took me quite a while to do it. And once I fixed it, I could wear shoes of the same size. And this was all because of guarding. Okay, that's enough of that video. But here I'm showing you how I got around that. That's a long time. I'd forgotten about that, actually. That's a long time ago, man. And that was, that's when I wasn't using yoga toes then. I was just letting my feet spread. And also I was tending to hold the foot in. And I got some advice from a PT on that. Okay, so once you know to spread your feet and practice spreading your feet, watch the video by Rebecca. Watch my videos. And once you can get, so instead of your feet being like this, they're more spread out. The next trick is to incorporate that into the way you move. So you have to be able to spread your feet without the yoga toes. So you practice spreading your feet. I guess another video is coming up. This is much too sophisticated for me. Oh, that's Rebecca Amos Lawson. Yeah, we made that years and years ago. I studied with her for 3 or 4 years. We published 2 books together. And that video is actually pretty good, but it mentions plantar fasciitis, which, see the yoga toes down there by her right knee? Those are the same ones I use. So, but that's besides the point of what I'm trying to describe. So you could take that one away.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I thought that they were
Oh,
putting
Doug's
she was
back.
putting she's putting the yoga toes on.
Okay, you can do whatever you like. Just let me know.
I just wanted to see. So you were talking about the yoga toes, though. You just want to get the normal um ones just like this that they use in for pedicures and stuff.
I don't know. I've had them for years. I mean, now I
Oh,
only have one because the dog chewed one of them up.
no. You can see how she's using them. So how do you use the yoga toes? So
Once you put them on, you have to really push them down between your toes. So
okay.
you push the little bridges between the toes. You push that right down as far as you can, and then you move your foot around. I mean, you move it around. You feel you're what you're trying to see what she's doing, moving her foot around. Yeah, I learned
Yeah.
all this stuff. I learned all this stuff from Rebecca. She was a professional dance teacher in New York and ran a dance group. I mean, she knows body movement. She taught me continuum. She improved my posture dramatically. I went to her for a long time, but of course now I can't afford those kind of lessons anymore. But Yeah, I went to her every week for years. I studied body movement a lot. I mean, I took Pilates, yoga. Um, oh man, Feldenkrais for 5 years. Feldenkrais is one of the best things I ever did. But so anyway, so now to move on. Once you can spread your toes, next you have to strengthen the muscles in the bottom of your feet, right? Because when you spread your toes, it allows blood to flow through your foot, and it allows the interstitial fluid to flow and your lymphatics to carry lymphatic fluid back up towards your heart. But the next thing you have to do is turn your feet into a pump. Now, every time a muscle contracts, it drives the blood out of the muscle. And once it relaxes, it allows fresh blood to flow back in. So by contracting a muscle, especially in your calves, for instance, it improves venous return. I mean, that's well-known fact and documented. And so you need to do this with your feet. I've never seen that documented anywhere. There are two sets of muscles in your feet. One set runs towards your toes and the other runs towards the base of your, the distal end of your metatarsals. And they're like, I think there's like 8 of them or maybe 10. I'm not sure. No, I think it's 8. I'm not sure. Anyway, I've got pictures of those on my videos. And you've got to learn to contract those, and do that by flexing your foot. And I got pictures of that on there and on videos. And you can improve that by using your hands. Your feet will copy your hands. And I've noticed if I want to do this action with my feet, if I do it with my hands, they help my feet.
Yeah.
Now I don't need to. Now, when I start contracting my feet, my hands start copying my feet when I'm not even thinking about it. And it will help you do the action of spreading your toes, contracting your feet, spreading your toes, contracting your feet. It's not just waggling your feet up and down. It's a circular motion. So, okay, so here you are. You contract the muscles in your feet, you drive the blood out. And I have that as a picture. One of my videos compares it to a diaphragm pump. So now you've driven the blood out of your foot. You drag your foot along the ground using those muscles, and then by propelling you forward, engaging your foot. And then as you lift your foot, you spread your toes. And now the blood is able to, fresh blood is able to flow back in. So you're pumping the blood out, you're bringing the blood in. You're pumping the blood out, you're bringing the blood in. It's not just flapping your feet up and down. It's a very important process to understand. And once you understand that, you will dramatically improve blood flow through your feet and improve blood flow to your toes. And you really want to get blood to that pinky toe. That's really important because it seems like that's the one that's most at risk. In fact, I have a picture of gangrene of the foot in one of my books, and it's those 3 toes, lateral toes, that are gangrenous. Gumby, stop. I got dogs here. They don't like me giving anyone else attention. Down. Now stop, because I'll put you in the bedroom. No, I got dogs. Dogs are important for PAD.
They are. You actually, there is a study that shows that you walk more when you have a dog. Actually, I think 20 minutes more each day or something like that. I need to look it up. There's an actual study for it.
Hang on a second. What are you doing, dog? Hang on a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay,
What?
that'd be great. We'll bring in Douglas then. Douglas, if you want to go ahead and unmute. And I'm sure that Kevin
you hear me
is still
now?
listening. Yeah, we can hear you. This is great.
Go in the bed.
So you can go ahead.
I was doing the yoga toes a minute ago, and everybody in the office here kind of looked at me like, excuse me, what are you doing?
I didn't know when you took off your shoes and you were at that place. Where are you? You're at a board meeting or something.
I'm at my heart doctor in Houston.
Oh, no way. This is amazing. So you're at the heart doctor, you're participating in our podcast here, and you're demonstrating to everyone there, creating a conversation, I would
I
say.
sat down in the lobby, took my shoes off, but when I took my socks off, everybody had that look like, uh-oh, he's in the wrong place.
Kevin,
Yeah,
you gotta hear.
I had to put the dog in the bedroom.
He's at the heart doctor right now. And 3 in 5 people who suffer a heart attack have PAD, right? So he's in the waiting room. I thought he was at home. So he's in the waiting room with his socks, just his shoes off and his socks. And we're telling him to take off his socks. He's in the waiting room, but at the heart doctor. And he's doing the yoga toes. And people are like, what are you doing? Are you in the wrong place? But he's in the right place, isn't he, Kevin?
Exactly right. He's showing it to the actual patients, the people we need to get to. We absolutely have to reach the patients. You're doing a good job, Doug.
So Kevin, I was going to ask you about this. We have some people that are starting to like talk about riding their bikes and swimming. I was wondering if you could do like maybe something. What are some of the proper techniques of riding a bike and swimming that we need to think about? Because I don't know how many people could ride their bike with toe clips and not the toe clips because of what we go through with PAD. So I was wondering if you could talk about some proper techniques maybe in a in riding, and we have to adjust our bikes to fit our legs and all of that stuff. So I was wondering if you'd ever thought about that also.
Yeah, I've coached quite a few people on both the bike and the swim, and I've also had some really good coaches coach me. I mean, I've got custom built bikes. The bike I like most is a titanium alloy custom bike that cost me 9 grand, and I'm really glad I bought it. But it's a racing bike, and I bought it to do full Ironman races where you start off with a 2.4 mile swim, and then you jump on a bike and ride 112 miles through the mountains, and then you jump off the bike and run a marathon. So that bike needs to be a good bike. It needs to fit. It needs to fit you like a good pair of slippers, but if you're just doing a bit of riding, you don't need to go to those extents. But there's a number of things that are really important about the bike. I'll talk about the swim in a minute because I've been swimming my whole life. I've been swimming for 75 years, I guess. Anyway, the bike has to fit. That's number one. Number two, if it doesn't fit, you'll be uncomfortable and get back strain. And usually people have a bike that's too long for them. Often the top bar is too long, so they're kind of stretching forward and it strains their lower back. That's not good. It needs to be comfortable. Number two, it has to have a mirror. You have to have mirrors on your bike. I mean, if you're going to get killed on a bike, you're going to get killed by something from behind. Riding a bike on the roads is dangerous. If you can find somewhere to ride safely, I mean, a good place to ride totally safely is at maybe a high school track when it's not being used. I mean, I will take people there and coach them on a bike. One of the things I use is to teach them balance. And so they'll do a thing like put a water bottle on the ground and they got to reach down and pick up the water bottle from the bike without getting off the bike. But all the people I train are wearing clip-in pedals. If you don't have clip-in pedals, you're only using your quads. But if you have clip-in pedals, you can use the entire muscles for the spin, which is all the muscles. I mean, your glutes are stronger than your quads, and your quads are massive, but also there are hip flexors you need to use and hip extensors. And so learning how to ride a bike for competition is a big job. Learning how to ride a bike around for exercise isn't like that, but you need to be safe. If you fall off a bike, you can really hurt yourself, so you better know what you're doing. That's why balance is important. If you're on the road, you need a mirror, and you need to know where it's safe to ride because people will kill you on a bike on the road. In some places, it's fairly safe, like Vermont. Some other places, like, I don't know, I'm not going to say, but some parts of the country, they hate bikes. So the bike, get it right. Get a bike that fits. Make sure you have a mirror. Make sure you understand the rules of the road. It's never ride a bike on your own. It's better to ride with other people because of some people in trucks, pickup trucks especially, like to bully people on bikes, and they only go for people riding on their own. I've been learning how to ride a bike forever, and when I get a new person to teach them how to ride a bike, I can dramatically improve their skills. But I'm always training them for a race, for competitive cycling or competitive triathlon. So beware of the danger, make sure the bike fits, have a mirror, follow the rules, don't ride on your own. Okay, that's a 5-minute introduction to riding a bike. But you can learn new things all the time, how to take turns, I don't know, how to draft, all that stuff. Okay, that's a bike. So if you follow those rules, you'll be fairly safe. To swim, if you want to learn how to swim, the first thing you need to do is learn how to balance in the water. And if you want to learn how to balance in the water, take a course in, why am I looking at Doug's hair? Anyway,
I don't know.
His hair.
He does have the best head of hair. I think
doing.
he's trying to make you jealous.
No, that's what I thought. But he has
Can
a
you
few.
grow collaterals in your head to help your head grow? You know, Um, they actually proved a long time ago that you could grow collaterals through research on a reindeer. You would appreciate this being a veterinarian as well, is that they ended up clipping the arteries up to the antlers. And at first, the antlers stopped growing. And then over time, something crazy happened. They started seeing the antlers start to come back. And that's when they went in and they discovered this entirely new network of vessels. And that was the start of the Collateral Nation.
Did you ever read The Hidden Life of Trees?
No,
You know that if you cut down a tree in the
Kevin,
forest, that it will start to put out shoots and stuff like that. It turns out the trees around feed the tree that's been cut.
Oh, interesting. I did
Biology
not know
is
that.
dynamic. It's dynamic and everything works together. It's all integrated. And we work together ourselves, though we don't realize it. Yeah, no, that's actually, yeah,
Kevin, a question about the swimming.
okay.
Freestyle, breaststroke, backstroke, dog paddle. Is there one that would benefit us more than others, or are they all comparable?
No, they're all very, very different. I mean, if you do butterfly, you better have strong core. Most people can't even do butterfly. I used to do it when I was younger. Now I don't think I can do it very well. Breaststroke, you have to watch out for your hippoductors and abductors because when you spread your legs like a frog, it can actually strain those muscles. So you better know what you're doing. I use freestyle all the time. Dog paddle, well, you can dog paddle if you like, I guess. I mean, I use freestyle kit because it helps spread my feet. I also use the pool for general training. I would do water running. And also the problem with PAD is it's very hard to get good cardiovascular training because of all the pain in your calves and your feet. It prevents you from getting your heart rate up. It's a real pain in the ass. Whereas if you go into the pool and do freestyle, PAD has no effect at all. And you can hammer, a couple of miles in a swim and get a really good cardio workout. So I recommend freestyle for that. Um, as far as learning freestyle, it's the first thing you got to do is learn how to balance in the water. And for you, there's a technique called total immersion swimming, and it will teach you how to balance longitudinally and how to balance from side to side. And if you watch people learning to swim, the first thing they do, you notice, is lift their head and gasp for air because they're scared of not having enough air to breathe. TI swimming will teach you how to relax in the water. I wrote a little book. I'm not promoting it now. I wrote a little book called Effortless Swimming. It's out there on Amazon where I describe how to do these things and how to get confidence in the water. Some people are very scared of the water, and so there's ways to deal with that. One way to get over fear of the water is go scuba diving. That works for some people, but yeah, I would say freestyle is the best way to get a cardio workout, and to do it enjoyably, you need to learn how to do freestyle properly by learning how to balance and then building your stroke with pull buoy, getting your kit coordinated with your arms. Man, I've been doing this forever. I keep learning new stuff, but I think freestyle is best as long as you can master confidence in the water and your balance. I don't know if that helps.
Yep, it does. So can you talk a little bit more about running in water? I go in there and I use a noodle and I put the noodle between my legs so that it adds a little extra flotation. And I end up and then I have a kickboard just kind of in front of me just to keep a little bit of balance and float. And then I do kind of like a bicycle. What do you mean by running in water? And I don't know if you could literally describe it and have us understand, or if I need to go to your site and look up a video.
There's a video called Water Running I made, which describes it
Okay.
completely. It's on my site, and I describe different ways of running in the water. You're literally running. I don't use a float aid. Initially, when you start to run, if you're worried about buoyancy, I don't have any, I just run in the water. And if I'm running properly, I stay afloat and upright. At first, you can have your hands like paddles. So you can spread your arms and have them like paddles to hold you up. But after a while, you can just bring them by your side and run normally. but you have to put some effort into it. And if you put effort into it, you can literally be running. I learned this from a runner in Canada. I read his book called Running from 9 to 90. And he said when he got in his 80s, running on the roads and trails beat up his knees and his ankles. So he would, if he had really long runs, he was a marathoner, he would do the first maybe 12, 15 miles on the roads or on trails, and then he would finish up the next maybe 10 miles in the pool. So he would get the running training, the whole body training you need. Yeah, that's the video. Made it years ago. Rick coached me for about 3 years. That's me running in the water. You see
Oh,
how I'm
I see.
using my hands like paddles?
Yeah.
I'm leaning a bit forward. It's better if you're upright. I mean, I made this years ago, but it's literally running. And you can, I think I have some, yeah, there I'm engaging different muscle groups. There I'm engaging my glutes and hamstrings, more pushing back. Others I use quads, that's using hip flexors. It probably says, yeah, there's I'm engaging my iliacus and my psoas muscles. So I can engage them by lifting my knees more. Um, yeah, I made this video. I still do water running now. I mean, there I'm starting to turn, I guess, at the pool, and you can increase the workload by pushing hard because the the kinematic viscosity of water is about 16 times that of air. So the resistance of the water makes this really hard work. So you can see I'm having to do a decent workout to do it, but all that's holding me up is my running. So if you watch that video, you'll see how to do it. So you run in the water, but you need deep water. You're not running off the bottom. You don't want to run off the bottom. It puts too much strain on your legs and your hips. It's just because of the resistance. I don't recommend that at all.
So you're not really touching the ground. You're not
No, no,
touching the
no,
bottom
no.
of the pool.
You're running in deep
Completely floating.
water, and you're not got a float aid. And it's the most I've ever done is like 2 hours, and that is a very hard workout.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm gonna have to try that. I just wasn't sure how we were doing it, so I was doing more of a bicycle. So now I'm gonna, when I go in today, I go in and I try. You inspired me to go into
Yeah,
the
imagine you're
pool.
running. Just imagine you're running.
Okay.
And eventually you can get your arms down by your side and really run. And it helps you run a lot because it strengthens all the muscles you need to run, but without the impact that triggers our claudication. It never triggers claudication. So you're getting all the rest of the exercise you need, which you're going to need if you want to run. I mean, I'm still struggling to run a decent, it's going to take me a while to master this, but I'm working on it. Hang on a
So in the
minute.
final few minutes here, do you have some additional tips that we haven't talked about waking up your toes?
Well, I think one thing that's really useful is a foot massage. I'm fortunate my girlfriend likes to give me a foot massage as long as I trade with a back rub. But having foot massage is really good. You know, a 45-minute foot massage will really get the tissue flowing and separate stuff. And I don't know if you know much about connective tissue, fascia. You're kind of loosening up that fascia and getting flow of tissue fluid, which is just as important as blood. I mean, you think the blood comes down to your feet, but then a lot of fluid comes out of the capillaries and then it's pulled back into the distal capillaries by osmotic pressure. So, but the fluids are flowing across. Some are going back into the venous system, and some is going back into you know, into the lacrimal system, not the lacrimal system, the thing that ends up in the left subclavian artery. Anyway, I'm getting old. I forget words now. Isn't that a bummer? It's a bummer. Man, it really is. Anyway, understanding fluid flow through your foot's good. If you separate them, don't forget your feet. Get them involved in the program. That's why I created the PAD 100, which is actually quite tough. I mean, I do it every day when I wake up. Somebody told me that they do it and it helped them quite a bit. It might have been Mike, I'm not sure. Um, and so just in that video, the PAD 100, I actually do the 100 so you can follow along with me how to do it. It's like if you watch yoga programs and they have you copying the yoga instructor, that's how I set up that video. But you have to do the work. You have to do the work. And if you do the work and wake up your feet, wake up your toes, the chances are you'll keep your toes for the rest of your life. I'm pretty sure of it. If you don't do that, you'll gradually lose toes, feet, legs, and you'll be in a wheelchair.
I'm just going to look up the PAD 100 really quick because especially since we do have Mike on here as well, that he said it helped him a lot. And there it is. Pad. There you go. Now I can share it
I'm
so you
even
can talk
thinking.
us through.
I'm even thinking. I think I might go for a swim and do some of the swimming techniques in this river behind me.
Okay, so we're going to show the PAD 100 here. You can talk us through. Here
Well,
you go, Kevin.
you're gonna have the voice on. Oh yeah,
Oh, do
there's.
you want me?
It's okay. No, I can talk about it. That's me being taught the Pilates 100, which gave me the idea when I was studying Pilates years ago, and then I compared the pumping action of your feet to that of a diaphragm pump. That's a separate video that describes how the muscles drive blood out of your feet, and spreading your toes and metatarsals brings blood into your feet. And that is how the PAD 100 has to be done. It's not just wiggling your toes, it's turning your feet into pumps. You're pumping blood through your feet by actively turning your feet into pumps. That is the thing that people have to understand. And so this exercise, you do 100 of these cycles, like in a Pilates 100. And so in that video, I do the full 100 so someone can come online and copy what I'm doing. Because when you get to about 80 or 90, your feet and calves get pretty damn tired. It's actually a hard workout, but you have to do it right. It's not just moving your feet up and down. You notice that when I bring my feet up, I'm attempting to spread my toes as much as I can. And when my feet go down, they pull in, and the muscles in the bottom of my feet are contracting. So you spread your toes as they come off the ground, because this is what you're going to do when you're walking or running. Exactly the same thing when you're walking or running. I pretty well completely eliminated claudication when I walk. When I run, it's tougher. It's much tougher. And so actually now I'm starting not to have problems with my feet or my calves when I run. I'm more having problems in my hips and my quads because I think I have some vascular deficits up there. So I'm working on that on the treadmill, and that's another video, is how to strengthen your hips and quads and stuff on the treadmill incline. So that's the PAD 100. And I'll do that when I wake up in the morning. Try not to wake up the dogs because they get irritated. That's the PAD 100, and you just do it 100 times. So you don't need to watch it 100 times. It gets boring after a while.
But when you're narrating, it makes it more fun. Thank you so much, Kevin Morgan. He's a pathologist. He's a PAD warrior, PAD patient, and world triathlete. And he has a great book that you might want to pick up, How to Fight the Crippling Pain of Peripheral Artery Disease. And thank you to Kevin for our little mention of the book.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Okay, I've been thinking about archetypes in the work I'm doing, and I have a tendency with my book covers to make me the hero of the book. That's not my objective. I'd rather be the mentor or teacher and have the student be the hero. So my new book I'm writing is a peripheral artery disease training plan, detailing it from the very first step of spreading your toes, whatever, all the way up to cross training. So I don't know if you can see it, but here's the new cover where I'm changing myself into the mentor, and they become the hero of the story.
I love that. Are you including a little area where they can just fill things out and track their workouts?
There's actually a spreadsheet they can put on their fridge, week by week, training for I think 14 weeks as an initial beginning, with introductory stuff for the beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And each line on the spreadsheet comes with a short chapter in the book that goes with it. And so the idea is to give people a plan, including measuring progress. And once it's published, I'll send you a copy. So I'm trying to finish that up now and keep it straightforward and simple. So any feedback will be good. And if you want me, once I get ready to send it to Amazon, if I could send it to you and you could give me feedback, that would be great before I put it out in the world. But it means that anybody coming in who knows nothing about what we're doing, and your work is mentioned in there, of course. I'm trying to think who I dedicated the book to. Who did I dedicate it to? That's the picture. Hang on, don't go away. Have we got?
Nope, but in the meantime, I can tell people if that you've just tuned in, we do this every week. I think next week what I want to do is I would love to just, we have so many people that are asking general questions about walking. I'd like to invite everybody to come in and ask any questions that they have about walking as medicine, how to maybe tweak your program to maximize your collateral vessel growth, to maximize the strengthening program. One of the things that they don't really talk about, in a supervised exercise therapy program, which is the gold standard for PAD as frontline treatment, is strength training. And I think that that's important. So a lot of people may have questions about that. And so I'm thinking that that's what we do next week. But in the meantime, inspirationalselfhelpbooks.com. Kevin is incredibly responsive and he loves to hear from you and he loves to help. So make sure you do end up going to his website, sign up for his newsletter. And also don't forget to subscribe to both of our channels. It really helps us a lot. At youtube.com/the @fit_old_dog and also youtube.com/the weight of my heart. And Kevin, did you find your dedication?
Yes, you.
No.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I just looked it up. Why not you? I'm not going to dedicate a putting down physician.
You're going to make me seriously.
No, well, you are the only person I've met so far who's really taken my work seriously, and I'm not joking.
Well, I think that it really works.
Oh, it does work, but you should see the stuff I did on so-called plantar fasciitis heel pain. It's a cottage industry based on misunderstanding. Don't get me, if you get me started on that, it'll be like you started on the insurance industry. So don't do it.
You're hilarious. I appreciate you so much, Kevin.
Really
Thank you so much.
What you're doing is really important. Really important.
Well, I think that we make such a good team, and I love being able to highlight all of your work and making sure that people do see it. You just have to remember, everyone out there, that the advice and views offered here on this broadcast are of our own. And so make sure you do always check with your own healthcare provider before acting on any advice or information, or before starting a workout program. You need the explicit consent of your own healthcare provider that knows your situation best. So with that being said, inspirationalselfhelpbooks.com. If you do need some help, finding a doctor, and especially if you're on deck for amputation, make sure you call our Leg Saver hotline at 1-833-PAD-LEGS, and we can also get you in contact with Kevin as well in case you missed some of this information. He is always willing to help. But thanks everyone for joining us. We will see you